We have, I think, Rupesh Shivakumar, who's also another racing driver. Some of them have been super quick on this game. I've been playing with them for the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and the amount of pace they have in races on a one-lap basis is just crazy. And it's difficult to keep up at times, but we're all learning, and it should be a good race today.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. It's so different to be stuck in each one home. I mean, you're in Hyderabad, I'm in Chennai, and we're still connected, and all these drivers who are in different parts of the country as well. I think we've just gone out for qualifying finally, ladies and gentlemen. We've started qualifying, and remember, this is the there are 6 cities that are competing. Each city has 2 drivers allocated to them. We've got 2 wildcard entries as well in Anandat and Kabumsula. So it's anyone's for the taking. Sit back. I hope you got your drink with you and support your favorite city or your favorite driver.
Yep, absolutely. So it's a 10-minute qualifying, and everyone's straight out of the box. I think it's very important to get it. As you know, Arman, even in real life, a lot of people rush out on the track during qualifying, and that kind of trips you up. I like to take it slow. Get my space, because it's essentially one lap that you need, and 10 laps can go very quickly.
No doubt, no doubt. And we were doing a couple of laps on Nürburgring as well earlier this week, you overcook it a little bit through the S's, and it's so easy to lose so much of time. So all these guys just be readapting, I think, in the first lap, and then going flat out after that.
Yep. So like you said, the S's, the chicane just before the last corner, very crucial. You may nail the entire lap together, and then you can throw it all away in that one corner. And it's a longish lap; it's almost close to 2 minutes. So you end up having to redo the whole thing, take in consideration an out lap, push lap, and then a cool down lap. You were essentially left with maybe 1 or 2 shots at getting a good qualifying run in.
No, definitely. I mean, I always say qualifying is best to do everything at 95%. So you get the whole lap in, because again, you push. You have 15 corners and you can do 13 right, but if you get 2 wrong, your whole lap is gone.
A lot of people are preferring the Mercedes at this track, so it seems like one of the favorites of the drivers. I see a lot of the guys driving the Mercedes AMG. So let's see if that does well.
Yeah, 100%. But there has been a strong GT3 car in the real world as well. But we've seen the GTR has been quite strong. I think if we could just get on board with Anandat right now, and because as we know, he's been doing a couple of laps in the circuit, and follow him for a lap or 2 before we shift to someone else. I think at the moment again the game is giving a few issues, but nevertheless, just bear with us. We've got a nice shot right now, the GTR, with some rebranding. Let's just hope that things settle down.
Yeah, as you mentioned, talking about Anandat, I was discussing with him today on what car he's driving, and when we do pan to him, it's quite an interesting car. He's not driving the usual bunch of the GT3 cars that you see. It's more of a concept car that's made by Volkswagen, and it's something that looks quite funky out of the box. It has no roof. No GT3 cars normally don't have a roof, so it'll be pretty interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's a really funky looking car. I remember with the first race that we held, a bunch of people came up with the concepts, and I think that was in Dragon's Trail, if I'm not wrong, or Sardinia. And a lot of top speed in the cars, a lot of top speed in the concept cars. But I just hope they're stable enough for the braking and the corners. Yeah, there we have. They were following Anandat right now, and we're back with. I think it's Aditya.
Aditya Raghav, I think that's Aditya Raghav. Yeah.
If I'm not wrong, for the longest time, Aditya Raghav was using the Supras, and this weekend he switched to the AMG. So let's see. I mean, and with the Supra he was on pole quite often, but let's see what happens with the AMG.
We have, I think, our first few laps on the board by, for the first few drivers who passed the the start-finish straight. They're in the 154, 155s, and I know that some people can go a lot quicker than that. I think Rupesh has just put in a fast lap time. I think towards the end of this last 5 minutes, we're going to see some really quick runs come.
I mean, if they go quicker than a low 154, that'd be really quick. But my guess was my guess was the low 154. But I mean, let's see. I mean, if you say they're gonna go quicker, I mean, I wonder whose money you've got it on.
I've been racing with Ravi Kiran, who's Arkavi, and he's currently having the fastest lap. So interesting story. He's been a motorsport photographer, and he's been clicking pictures of us at racetracks. For the last 5-7 years, and in the last 2-3 weeks we've been kind of racing against each other, and he's super quick. Every track, every car that you put him in, and it's been interesting, racing against him, and I think even Shamim out there, who are motorsport photographers in real life, and sim drivers here. So it's interesting to see how quick and how fast these guys are.
Yeah, especially I think they're GT specialists, because in this game, every weekend they're always in the top half and winning races, But yeah, I think Ravi loves the GTR because the last weekend as well, when he shifted to the GTR, he immediately won his first race then. So he's just stuck with it.
Yep, we actually just had an interesting race before this where, it was down to strategy and which car had more fuel burn and, which was a better car in the long run because it was an endurance race. And, he interestingly picked WRX STI GT3 car. Again, very interesting choices, but I think a lot of people go back to the GTR whenever they have a doubt or, if they're not too sure of how it reacts to the track. It's an overall very good car for this game. It's designed and developed very well for this game. It's super quick in a straight line, and it adapts to almost every track you take it to.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, they've done a great job in this game because again, Nissan is a fundamental partner of GT as well. But nevertheless, I think here we're with Glenn. Glenn's been really quick as well. Again, Glenn, Ravi, all of them are like the big Gran Turismo group really, who come in week in and week out, and he's one of the favorites as well. And funny enough, Glenn basically is representing the Bangalore City, and Bangalore are right now current champions of the X1 Racing League in 2019. So let's see if they can continue that. If they can continue that momentum. If we can just go look at the fastest lap at the moment, Ishan, if we can just spell it out, go through the order as where it stands right now.
So I think Aditya Raghav just got quickest with the 154.882, and like you said, dropping into the 54s right on the money. So he is quickest right now, and about 7/10 behind him is Glenn. Glenn's a former GT Academy driver and a journalist as well. So he's been pretty quick. He's second, and it's Arkavi who's in third place. So I think the top three is more or less what we've been seeing in the last few weeks. Different races, different championships. But these are the guys who've been pretty quick, and right now they're currently holding the top three places.
Yeah, Isha. I mean, I remember last weekend you drove with us ultimately with these guys, and then I think every weekend, as a racing driver, it's a little different technique, and you're just getting quicker as you get used to get more used to just sitting in one place and trying to go flat out.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, after 3 weeks of driving, I finally got my first podium yesterday. I started one race in, I think, the 11th or 12th and climbed all the way up to second. So in one of the proper online races, it was, my first podium. So it took me a good 2-3 weeks to get used to this game, the dynamics of how the car reacts to it. It is a lot different than real world, driving. There's a different knack of driving the car. It is a little unnatural for, say, some racing drivers because it doesn't feel as fast around the track. But I think that's the way to drive a car, to make sure you get the time out of it in the game. And a lot of these guys have perfected that.
Yeah, 100%. I guess they always say practice makes you perfect, right? Let's try and run on board. If we can just get on board with Anandit right now, since we're following him, and run through this lap with him, and then we can run. Let our audience know what the Nürburgring is like to drive on.
Yep, absolutely. So straight all the way down this long front straight. It's a very hard braking zone, very sharp right-hander. It's kind of off cambered, and so it gets difficult and tightens up. Then moving into the little small stadium section, again very slow corner and easy to mess up because you start to get a little aggressive on throttle and will spin you out. Turning into this turn 3, right-hander that leads you to the back section. So it's a super lap, the Nürburgring GB circuit, all the way down to the hairpin, coming all the way up through the chicane. All of it, a lot of fast and slow corners, a good mix of them. So it's a super driver's track.
Oh, 100%, 100%. And with the camber changes and everything and the elevation changes, it makes braking quite difficult and it's so easy to overcook a corner.
Yep, absolutely. Like even this corner that we're currently looking at, the fast left into the right, it's absolutely flat in this game in these cars. But right after that is a very difficult, tricky braking section. So if you mess it up, it's very easy to spoil the lap from there.
Yeah, and the chicane as well, because again, you come through the whole lap in the chicane. If you hit the curb a little bit too harsh, you immediately get unsettled and you lose a lot of time that you just don't realize it. And you kind of understeer through the mid to the exit of the last corner. So if you get on the power a little too early, again, you just run off into the gravel there.
Yep, and there you look at that funky car that I was mentioning earlier. It's the Volkswagen GTI Concept GT3 car. It doesn't have a roof, and like I said, no normal GT3 cars exist without a roof. But I guess that's where the gaming side of things comes into play, where you can get away with a car like this and be as quick, I would say, as a regular GT3 car.
I guess in the virtual world, it all makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Anand's been practicing, on this game the last few days. We've been practicing together, and he just put in a lap time which puts him P10 currently. It's not a bad effort because I think he just picked up the game about a couple of days ago, and he had to borrow a rig from another friend of ours to start practicing on with it. So that's a good job, I think, in terms of putting in a qualifying lap, because all these guys have put in hours and hours of effort to make sure that this is quick.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. To be, and I think Anand will come alive in the races. I think that'll be the strong suit. And using the tires, the degradation to his advantage, and then trying to make up on the experience that he has on track, and trying to cut back on what these guys have on the game. I think we're done with coming to the end of qualifying now. We can just run through the order as it stands. Ishan.
Yeah, so it's Aditya Raghav right now on provisional pole position. No one's been able to go faster than what he set, the 54.8. And then it's Glenn in P2, Arkavi in P3, Rupesh in P4, there's Shamim in P5. Pradyumna is in P6, another driver who's been super quick, and he's been getting better and better at the game. So he's currently in P6. I think there's another Aditya that's fun anywhere on the screen. He's in P7. Ankur, who's the wildest monk, he's in P8. And then there's a couple of drivers beyond that. But like you mentioned, it's not that hard even if you don't qualify well. We have the entire order here.
Right, Ishan. Sorry to cut you off, but here we've got the lights on, and here we go. Green, and we're off. We see a really good start from the two AMG Mercedes. One from pole, and then the other one coming from fourth. I think was Rupesh, who's coming to second place now. As they all come breaking deep into the off-cambered corner. Two GTR starting wide there. I think Glenn has lost a bit, but he's coming back into this long left-hander. I think he's made up a place.
He's trying to make a move. Yeah, he's trying to make a move up the inside, and I think he's successfully managed, but he's going to tighten up on him very quickly. And I think Ankur, who's in P4, is going to get a better run on him going into the stadium section.
100%. As they come down to the first of the S's, braking hard, it's Aditya in the lead, followed by Rupesh, if I'm not wrong, followed by Glenn.
Yep.
They come to the left and right sequence and go down to the Schumacher corner there.
And they're coming up to a very crucial braking point into this hairpin. It's very easy to mess it up, and especially on the first lap, cold tires. You're not hit your braking marker right, and you could just go straight off. But I think so far everyone's clean through there, and the big mover, like you said, is Rupesh. He's jumped up into second place, and that bright yellow Mercedes you can see. So it's easy to spot him. He's jumped up all the way, I think, from P5 to P2. Arkavi is dropped back to P5, so he's not had a great start. But I think Aditya Raghav is having a good first lap, getting
Right.
away. He's just second and a half ahead of Rupesh.
So we've got Pune in the lead, we've got Chennai in second, and we've got Bangalore in
Ba-
third. That is how it stands at the moment as they come towards the end of the first lap, ladies and gentlemen. This is the ultimate Indian Super GT city based the third weekend that we're having. I think we've got some close racing right through the field. Okay, the top three have pulled out a little bit of a gap, but then at the back you can see them all going up, all going 3-4 abreast there, coming towards the first corner. Actually, there's Glenn trying to go on the outside as well. He might try and do the cutback on Rupesh. You see Anand there, who's just holding off a bunch of guys behind him, a little scurvy on the brakes, but he made up a couple of places, I think.
Rupesh managed to hold off and Glenn's right on his tail there. If we can cut to those two, I think that's a good battle heating up.
Yeah, if we can just focus on P2 and P3 because they seem quite close to one another. Remember, everyone has to make a pit stop here and plan their fuel strategy as well. So we'll have to see who pits early and who waits till little later. Remember, safety car might come out as well if there's an incident, and that could change everything.
So it's a very interesting way of doing it, and we just kind of got the knack of it a couple of days ago, where you can change your fuel maps on the fly, you can change your traction control settings on the fly, like a real GT3 car. So with that, strategy comes into play, and it makes it quite interesting. You need to think on your toes, make sure you're running the right fuel map so that you don't run out of fuel.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and also keeps you thinking on your feet. And strategy is all about you need to be that active mentally as well as a racing driver. To be able to adapt to different situations and to make that call from while you're in the car.
Yep, and I can see that Ravi is caught up to the back of these two, so I think that's going to be a feisty battle there. There's two GTRs and one AMG GT3 car, all three bunched up together for fighting for P2, 3, 4. So I think that's going to be a good battle to watch, because I know that Ravi is quite aggressive when he gets to if he can get right behind someone, he'll pressure that driver off into making a mistake or make a move himself.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree with you. As we've seen in the last few weekends as well, he is. You see a little tap there, one more tap there from Glenn to Rupesh. Yes, you people tap saying, "Come on, there's a pressure building up. Get a move on. Go."
Yep, or he could have just completely missed his breaking point and used Rupesh as a little bit of a cushion. Luckily, both of them got away with it, but you know how easily that could end in tears. Where one small mistake in your braking point, you can completely wipe out the driver in front.
I was just trying to look at the positive, Aishan. I was just trying to look at the positive. Yeah, you called it there.
No. I've been at the receiving end of it, so that's where the minute I see something like that, I'm like, oh man, that could have very easily ended both ends. But yeah, they've gotten away with it, and again, back on the hunt from Glenn. He's trying to close in on Rupesh. They seem to be maintaining that gap, that 3 to 4 tenths gap that they have between each other. So they've been doing a good job at not making any mistakes.
Oh, 100%. I mean, so far it's been very clean. I don't want commentators to come back and bite us. But so far, might I say that they have been fairly well behaved. Even the first lap, surprisingly, was very sober, I would say.
Yep. But in all of this, what is happening in the front is the 8th Suplep, that's Aditya. He's just been pulling away. He's pulled a nice 5-second gap.
But look at this battle now. Robbie's coming down the inside. Is he got Glenn? They're going? Rupesh has slowed it down to the chicane. Has Ravi got him? Just look further back.
Yep. He's made the move.
Yep, he's made the move. So that's Chennai 2 and 3. And we have Glenn who's missing. Glenn's missing.
Yep. He's just dropped off the timing.
Oh, he's dropped off. Is that him all the way at the back?
Yep, he's dropped off all the way to 10th. So either he went off there, or he had a little bit of an issue there. I can see him there in the back. He's currently, I think, in 10th place. But that's like we was just, maybe it was commentators guys when we just spoke about it, and there was a little aggressive move going into the chicane. It was absolutely on, but what just happens there is one person misses their braking point, and then he was running in third place. He's down to 10th right now.
100%. I wonder
And as we
where.
speak, even Ravi's made a move up into second.
Yeah.
So he was on the tail of Rupesh, and on the same lap, he's able to go from P4 to P2.
He's wasted no time at all, and just straight. He had a bad start, but now he's recovered. I think Aditya is a bit out of reach, but yeah, I think he's done the max that he could to come back into at least a fighting podium position.
Yep.
As we see Glenn then 10th, I mean he must be. I don't know what, I don't really know what happened, whether they thought there was contact, but unfortunately Glenn was running strongly and right behind Rupesh. Third has gone all the way down to 10th.
You can see some scruff marks on his front bumper, so it does look like he had a bit of a moment. Either he was pushed off and hit the barrier or something like that. So unfortunate for him.
Yep. And as we look at Ravi now, he looks quite comfortable. He has pulled out a gap. From Rupesh. Actually, there's 6 laps to go, if I'm not wrong.
Yep, we're currently on lap 5 of this race, the 10-lap race, and Pradyumna is up into 4th as well. That's another move. So he started I think P6 and he's moved silently up into P4. And these guys, because they're nicely spaced out, I think it gives him some breathing room to stretch his leg as well.
Oh, definitely, and Pradyumna has been. I think he's been. We've all been on Nürburgring quite a few times this week.
And as we're speaking of it, he's right on Rupesh's tail. Actually.
Yeah.
I think Rupesh cooked it into C1, and Pradyumna has just got right behind him, and he's really hustling him now through this section.
Yeah, and we've seen Pradyumna get stronger and stronger as the race goes on, they expect him to be pretty good. To try and make a move here. Just hopefully it doesn't clean. Going on the outside, he makes a move on the outside.
That was a super
That was a great move there.
Yep. Right around the outside, and that corner is very difficult.
There. But I mean, very clean. There was no struffling. They didn't touch. Just very strong on the brakes and goes right around the outside of Rupesh there. Oh, I wonder if we can catch Ravi. Get the move on and catch Ravi.
Yeah, he has just about a 2-second gap up to Ravi. So a couple of good laps in, he could well be on Ravi's tail as well.
Yeah, there's enough time. Remember, they will have to make a pit stop to refill the tanks to go for fuel stop. So we haven't seen anyone pit yet. Usually we do see them pit around the 3rd to the 4th lap and then go the rest of the race. But maybe they're all going for a late strategy.
Yeah, if you just I know it may be a little difficult for people watching in. Right where you can see the 4 tires, next to that is the fuel indicator for each driver. So you can see, how much fuel each one's carrying and when they're likely to make a pit stop.
Yeah. So as we see them coming down, if we go back with the leader now, Aditya looks in his own world, comfortable.
So some of them have pit as we speak, Arman. So I think we saw a few people peel into the pits. They dropped down the order because they were, in the pit lane, and a few of them have taken their first pit stop. And I think it's a clever move. Instead of having to really drive efficiently to make sure you're extending out, just do a quick pit stop. You have another 4 laps to go. Put on a fresh set of tires and then go for it for the next 4 laps.
Oh, definitely. I mean, especially if you're in traffic, and like for example, someone like Glenn lost, he was in traffic but has significant pace. It's better to pit, get it out of free air, and just hammer it down then. And hopefully you try and make up as much as you can post that.
Yep, absolutely. But we've not seen the top 2 make a pit stop yet. So Aditya and Rupesh haven't made a pit stop yet. Ravi has made a pit stop. He's come down to 5th place, but he'll eventually get those positions back when the guys pit in front of him. But it is going to become interesting as everyone bunches together post their pit stops.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the cycle will. The cycle will rotate right by itself. So, as you can see, these two guys having a great battle here. The AMGs.
I think that's Pratik and the other Altya. Both of them having a good dice at it. Going into the chicane right now. I think he's dropped off. He tried making a move, but the minute the door was shut, and they're all both jumping into the
But both have jumped into the pits.
Yep.
You know, with the circuit, it's so easy to. I remember Kimi Raikkonen as well, overshooting the pit stop in the pit lane here. It's so easy if they carry a little too much speed, just make a small mistake. But no, nevertheless, both have gone to the pits, and I think we go back to Ravi now.
Ravi and Pradyumna behind. Yeah, they're both.
I'm not wrong. I saw some yellow flags waving in the background. I wonder if someone's gone off from.
Could be, as we see Ravi go a little deep into the first corner. This is his first lap out after his pit stop. So sometimes you'd make a pit stop. Your mind restarts, and you forget the braking
You seem
point.
having a moment there.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, and they always say the most crucial part of a race that has pit stops are your in laps and your out laps, because you can gain or lose so much with that. Because when you have cold tires or when you have worn out tires, it's how you manage that and how you can really get in and get out of the pits. I've been in the situations, and an outlap has really seen you make so many places because of a good outlap, and seen you lose out so many as well. So crucial.
Yeah,
here you have Rupesh
four drivers. Yeah. You see 4 drivers again bunched up: Rupesh, Altya, Glenn, and Pratik. I think there's 4 of them fighting it out for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th.
So that's Glenn who's fought his way back. So after his pit stop, he's obviously pitted when he saw him falling back, and then now he's come back into the top. I think he's fighting the top 8. So he's got 5th place to play for, and that would be a good comeback really.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if I was not wrong, he dropped all the way down to 11th when he went off. So if he does manage to get these places in front of him, 5th would be a super recovery from him.
Oh, definitely. I wonder what's happening with Rupesh. He's really dropped back after running a strong second at the start and beginning of the race. Now, to be running 6th and, under a lot of pressure, it might actually drop to 8th. Just hope we see them. We see Aditya, I think, and Pratik hit each other. One going into the chicane and one coming out, and that's helped Rupesh build up a little gap.
Yeah, and that's Glenn right there. As we spoke about him, he's making his moves, and you see Rupesh go wide.
And Rupesh runs wide and runs into both of them.
Good avoiding from Glenn. Good presence of mind. Otherwise, both of them would have been into the barriers. So, but he's made up 2 places there opportunistically. And he's up into 5th. I think someone's gone off at C1 as well. So.
A lot of incidents happening there. It's hard to keep track really, but one thing we know for sure is that Glenn's made full use of that and come from he was 11th a couple of laps ago, and now he's in 5th. As we ride with Ravi, who seems to be a comfortable 2nd, we've got Aditya in the lead, really out of our sights now, and Pradyumna, who might be on for his first podium. This is actually the first weekend that he's qualified for. So not a bad job at all.
Yeah, super effort from his end. Just to make sure he's been consistent, not making any mistakes. For someone, he's been racing online a lot, but the pressure of the stage kind of gets to you when it's a proper race, and it's not a race just for fun between friends. So good job and super props to him on making sure he doesn't make any mistakes so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, here up front, you see Aditya just still pushing, still setting fastest laps, fastest sectors. He seems in his own comfortable zone, really. Not troubled at all.
Yeah, I remember on the 2nd or 3rd lap, he got a 5-second lead, and so now he's comfortably at a 7-second lead, and just maintaining.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the AMGs are quite a few of them this weekend, and a lot of them running very strong up the field. I mean, they definitely suits the European circuits better than the Asian one.
Yeah, I think it's P1, P4, 5, 6, 7 are all AMGs, and there's a couple of GTRs in there. So Ravi and Pradyumna are on the GTRs, and Glenn as well. So it's a good mix, and those are the only 2 cars we actually end up seeing in the top 8, 9 cars.
So as it stands now, we've got Pune in the lead, we've got Chennai in 2nd, and we've got Delhi in 3rd. A good mix there, with 3 different cities battling it out in front. we are on the penultimate lap as it's a 10 lap race. So this is lap 9, and we've got one more to go. We've The top three are pretty much in their own world, so to speak, and it's really their race to lose right now. Look at that, he's still setting purple sectors.
Yep, he's set a faster lap time than what he set in qualifying, and obviously he's on a lighter fuel load now towards the end of the race. But just to make sure you do that, that's incredible driving from him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, let's see if he can manage the same thing in Barcelona. When we fly over to Barcelona for race 2. Was there someone who had a penalty there?
Yeah, so I think Glenn's catching up to Aditya in P4. And Aditya himself has a penalty. I think this game does a little bit of self penalizing. If you cut a corner and you try and make a little place, it gives you a couple of seconds added on. So as of now, he has that penalty on him, and if he doesn't ease off or back off, it will be added to his race time. There you see, I think it was about 1.5 seconds. So if Glenn can close into that 1.5 second window, he can make that place as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's got one. He's on the last lap. I think Aditya's done with his penalty, so it looks a little difficult unless he makes a mistake right now.
Yep, and as we speak, Aditya Raghav starting his final lap. He just set the fastest lap on the penalty on the last lap. The 54.3 that you see on the screen was set on that lap.
54.3 Ishan is a really, really quick time. I mean, it's full props. I mean, it's a really quick time.
Yeah, I think he's set himself in that zone right now where he doesn't have any pressure behind him. It's just him and the car, and he's able to peel out as much as he wants out of that. Towards the back end, we have a little bit of dicing going on.
A lot of dicing actually. There's a lot of action going on here with Rupesh still holding fort. And there's a move there. There's a move by Shami. Shami making move, been fairly quiet through the race, and he's trying to go around the outside now. Yeah, he's going to hold it down. But yeah, at least there's some action going on even at the last lap of the race. Everyone wants to score that even the last point that's available.
Yep, absolutely. They're fighting for 8th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, and you would look at them and feel they're fighting for the top 3. But that's great driving. But I think he's trying to make another move in the back. I can see him trying to make another move on Rupesh. I think he's managed to get through to him. So Rupesh has dropped back, quite a bit. He was running very strong in P3. He's dropped down to, I think, 9th place.
Yeah, and we've missed the finish of the race, and so we've had Pune who's won the race with Aditya, and there you see Ravi who's representing Chennai finishing 2nd. And then Delhi coming through for third. Yeah, like you said. Unfortunately, we missed Aditya who crossed the line. That was a real dominant win there. And in 4th place is again Aditya, followed closely by Glenn there.
Yep. And I think Prateek takes 6th, Shami takes 7th, and as we go across, I think Ankur is finished in 8th place. So yeah, super drive.
There you see him enjoying his win. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Aditya who is representing Pune City, who's taken race 1 victory. So race 2, we go into qualifying, which will be at Barcelona, and followed by the 10-lap race again. So Ishan, just running through race 1. What were your highlights? I think few key points were, one, the start. The AMG is really storming into the lead, but then I think Ravi and Pradyumna really coming strong from midway or mid race onwards. And yeah, I mean Aditya.
I think obviously, absolutely, as you mentioned, completely dominated the field. But I think the other takeaway or the highlight was the recovery Glenn had. We saw him in the top 3 in the first couple of laps. He went off, dropped down to 11th, but make sure he came back up to 5th. So I think that was a good drive from his end as well.
So let's try and get Let's try and get Glenn actually. Or let's try and get Anandit first, and then let's try and get Glenn to have a have a word with us. Let's try and get Anandit first. Hi, Anandit. Anandit. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to get Anandit online with us so we can have a chat out and see how for him to share his thoughts on the race. Anandit, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. How was it in your VW concept? I mean, you were quite lively at the start of the race, but how did it play out for you?
Yeah, I just finished the race at Interlagos and the car performed perfectly. And the start was pretty good. I was up to 8th place, but then a mistake cost me big time. In the end, I can't blame the car. It was my mistake, and maybe some more practices in order.
Yeah, it requires a totally different driving style, doesn't it? I mean, yeah, you just got it a couple of days ago, so I mean, I'm sure by next week it'll be up front anyway. So, looking forward to Barcelona.
Yeah. Any racing is good racing. So looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, you were mentioning earlier in the day, Anand, that you actually never raced, at this track, and today is like the first time you actually did a few laps. What are your thoughts on this track? It's a legendary racetrack on the Formula One calendar. A lot of people like driving it. What do you think about the track?
Yeah, it's great. I watched races at this track before, and I really enjoy watching races here. It's a different story racing it though. It's not one of my favorites when we're racing it. You have to take a lot of curb and unsettles the car, and you really kind of have to get the hang of it. Looking forward to the next race.
All right.
Okay, super. All the best for your qualifying. I think we should be about maybe a couple of minutes away from starting quali for Barcelona.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Good luck for the next one, and we'll chat after Barcelona.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you want to try and get Glenn in before we start quali?
Yeah. So,
Hey guys.
Hey Glenn.
Oh, that was so frustrating.
What happened? Run us through it because you were up in the top 3.
Yeah.
And then what happened? Just run us through what happened.
So basically, I mean, I qualified second, and I knew that if we could just get through the whole shot, the race would settle down into decent. But I was being held up a little bit by who was it? What's the guy's name? By Village Racer, I think. And
I think that's Rupesh.
Yeah, so I was giving him a little nudging, trying to pick him on, saying we need to catch up to Aditya because once he breaks past the slipstream, we're not going to catch him. But that gave the opportunity for RKV to kind of catch up with us. And then the penultimate chicane, I want to keep it as clean as possible. So I saw him in my radar and I knew he was going to go down the inside. So I gave him as much space as possible, saying okay, you know what, let's just fight this and get past and let's try to catch up to Aditya. But I just got pummeled from the back. I don't know who it was. I have to check the replay. So I gave the space to RKV to say, okay, you know what, just take the chicane, get in the lead. Let's work together to catch up to the guys in front. And I just got pummeled in the back. I don't know who it was. I have to check the replay. And then I was booted to 11th. And then I just rage mode came on. I was just shit. So 11th to 5th, 6th, I think it was an okay recovery. I think I could have got one more place with Wildest Long, but I think I pushed a little too hard. But yeah, it's a little sad. I think I could have been on the podium today, but I guess just wait for Barcelona now and try to get some points.
You come back in Barcelona and score as many as you can for the championship, really. But that was a good comeback. You kept us entertained.
Even my teammate, I have to apologize to him. I think I was a little aggressive with him. Because I was trying to signal to him let's just try and work together, because this game you have to be as smooth as possible. It doesn't reward a lot of aggressive driving, but yeah, it did happen. It's fun though.
Super. Thanks so much for joining us. All the best for your qualifying with Barcelona. I think it's just underway. I think they're gonna just head out as well. So hope you do well there.
All right, thanks.
Cheers, Glenn. Good luck.
I just noticed something very funny in the comments, Arman. Someone mentioned the flight's already landed in Barcelona. So it was quick. We jumped from Germany to Spain, and we're here at the Circuit de Catalunya.
That's the
And he's
beauty of
also
esports. That's the beauty of
Yeah.
esports. You can
He's
go.
also asking. He's also asking us if the commentators fly to Barcelona as well. So
Well, I can. My TV says so.
yeah, we all hope we were in Barcelona, but like you said, that's the beauty of it. We can jump
So-
between racetracks and cars.
So,
like
Ishan,
it.
just before, sorry to interrupt, but just before we go to qualify, let me just get Ravi in. Ravi, are you with
Hi.
us?
Yes,
Hi.
I'm.
You had quite the entertaining race, which did end up well for you. But do you want to run us through it?
Yeah, I think my start was a little messy. The GTRs don't get off the line.
They're a little
Unlike
heavy.
Yeah, little heavy, and I think it bogs down because of turbo. I'm not sure. So, but I was actually looking forward to a good fight with Glenn and Rupesh. I'm not sure what happened to Glenn there though, because
Yeah,
we
I
were
think
all
he was-
going 3 wide into the penultimate corner, and I thought we would all come out of it fine. But the next thing I know is Glenn's literally like spun out in the rail.
Yeah, I think he just mentioned that he tried giving a bit of room and went a little wide, put a wheel on the grass. So that kind
Yeah,
of pushed him
that's
off.
very unforgiving. Yeah, a
Yeah,
wheel
yeah,
on the
yeah.
grass and it's all over.
Yeah, but he
But,
did make sure he fought his way up to fifth. I think he had a decent race after that. But yeah, I think we
cool,
have
awesome.
we have a second shot at seeing you guys fight it out at Barcelona.
I hope so, but Pleb seems to be running away with it at the moment, though.
Yeah, I think you need to make
That's-
sure you're ahead of him in qualifying and put it on pole. Then you can start fighting it.
Well, that's also because you all fought so hard. They just allowed that game a clean run to just go run, focus on himself and run away.
Yeah, and I think I actually could have been on pole. I was pretty close in the first two sectors, and then I got completely held up on my lap by Anirudh. I think I'm not sure who that was.
But it's all about that clean first lap in the race. I think that's what defines who runs win, who doesn't. So good luck in Barcelona. I hope you have
Thank
a
you.
clean qualifying session, and we know you can race. So yeah, we'll be watching you.
Thank you. See you guys soon.
Cheers.
All right.
Right, so Ishan, what are your predictions now? As we just get ready to step into Barcelona, we've spoken to the guys who finished in the top 5. We've seen what they've been up to. I think a lot to play for. There might be some surprises here or there, but the top guys would still be. I mean, I think the usual suspects. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we just spoke to Ravi. Ravi's been super quick at any track we go to. So he's going to be up there. And obviously Aditya, who's, been on pole and won almost every race we've driven in our championship. So, these two are going to be up there. Like Glenn said, he had a good qualifying in the Nürburgring. So maybe he has a shot at being in the top 3 as well. I think Rupesh has been doing a lot of driving. Today, I think, is his 4th or 5th race in a row, almost. I've seen him do 2 races with me. He's jumped straight into this. So, I think either that could be very good for him with the amount of seat time, or there could also be a little bit of fatigue from all the driving. So let's see. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, something about sim racing. A lot of people don't realize it's actually it's mentally draining. After a while, because you're not mobile. You're static in one position. And it takes a lot of your mental concentration to not make a mistake and just go lap after lap after lap watching a screen. And it does take a toll. I think if he's done that many races a day, I think definitely does need to spread it out a bit.
Yep. I think I did a karting race a couple of days ago, and that's super brutal. Like in terms of you don't expect it, and it starts getting aggressive. Like your arms start hurting after about 3-4 laps of like a real Rotax go-kart. So yeah, that way I think you have to give the game props. It is as realistic as you can hope for it to be on a PlayStation. It is not at the level, I guess, as the iRacing and the R Factor game. But for it to be able to do so much on the PlayStation, I think it's a great.
This definitely does cater to a wider audience, as we've seen, worldwide as well. If you look at the numbers, I mean, you just get, all you have to do is get a PS4 and pick up the game on your, download the game, and then you have it. You can take part. So it's as simple as that, really. Like last week we had a 12-year-old kid, Kunal Vinod, who was taking part of the joystick as well, and he made it to the final. So, it's something for everyone to be able to compete in. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and that's something that I noticed. The difference between being on a proper steering wheel and pedal setup or a joystick. A lot of people may be thinking, people have very fancy, rigs and steering wheels, but a lot of them out there are just playing on the regular controller that you get at the PlayStation and are as quick, if not faster, than a lot of other guys. So that's something that people should keep an eye out for. You can get better at it. You can keep improving even with just the controller.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and you start off the controller, and as you get, hooked onto it, you will eventually pick up a wheel and pedals, which is quite basic. You can get quite a basic set as well, like we've seen, and you can attach it to a table and get a chair and start off in that process at least.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing currently. Like I managed to get my hands on the wheel, after a really long time looking for one. Managed to get it, and now it's attached to a desk, and just sitting on a chair in front of it. But yeah, I do want to get something nice, a little more comfortable for the longer stints.
Well, under these circumstances, right now we're all in our own houses. We're not sitting in the same room together. We are respecting, each one's space, so giving the whole social distancing, and with everything that's going on right now, we're making the best of the situation as we can, and keeping this competitive spirit alive, really, as we head out to qualifying in Barcelona.
Yep. Again, you see, a big stream of the guys quickly getting out. Finding that space on the outlap is extremely crucial. I think that's something which comes with experience. A lot of people know, that you will get held up. You may be on a fast lap, someone else ruins your lap. Like I think Ravi mentioned when we were talking to him, he was on a fast lap and he got held up by someone. So it's very crucial to make sure you space out. It's a huge track. There's only 15 odd drivers on the track, so you should be able to find a gap for yourself.
Yeah, but it's 15 drivers on a 5.2 kilometer track. There's no excuse for traffic really. If we see someone going off, that was just a game basically. But yeah, there's no excuse to really have traffic because you have enough place to just space it out and get a clean run of a couple of laps. But saying that, this circuit does keep you very busy. There's a lot of corners, one after another, really. And that's why it bodes well with so many racing drivers.
Yeah, I think it's one of the favorites of the drivers. Formula One always comes here for its testing, and as you see, Anirudh Srivastava going off. The game had a little bit of a glitch.
Yeah.
I think I'm lagging as well on the video stream.
No, that.
Yeah, no, but as I was mentioning, Formula One comes here for its pre-season testing year on year. So I think it is a great track which a lot of the drivers appreciate.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it coming down that long straight, because you're just going up the gearbox out the last corner, and you come down that long straight, and you brake really late in turn one, take it all the way to the right-hander, and then you start accelerating from the left-hander, and accelerate all the way out to the long right as well. So it's got such a nice sequence and such a nice flow to it. It's a great driver circuit. It's a lot of fun to test your car and try different setups.
Yeah, absolutely. Every car has its own way of reacting. So, obviously for us, just to make it a lot more competitive, we've not kept the setups open. But, if you have the ability to set up the car, I think it's a great circuit to test it out.
Yeah. So just to touch back on where we're at right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, we're at race 2, first race at the Nürburgring. This is the Indian Super GP round 3, and this weekend we have cities competing against one another. To run you through our cities and the representatives, the drivers, basically Chennai, and you've got Ravi Kiran and Rupesh representing Chennai. You've got Shamim and Aditya Patnaik representing Mumbai. You've got Pradyumna and Ankur representing Delhi. You've got Huzaifa and Bhrugu representing Hyderabad. Aditya Raghav and Aditya Bakshi representing Pune. Pratik and Glenn representing Bangalore. And finally our wildcards in Gaurav Vail and obviously a five-time national champion Anand Reddy. In the first race at Nürburgring, we saw Pune winning, followed by Chennai, and then it was Delhi. Let's see what qualifying brings about in Barcelona.
So we see a few guys who've already set their first flying lap.
Right.
I think Ravi has gone and set a 44.8. And I know that that's a really quick time for this place.
That is, I mean, I know, but Ishan, talking to them earlier, I think they've come down to 43s here, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go quicker.
Yeah, I think for a first push lap, just to get a banker
for
in,
sure,
it's a
for
good
sure.
lap time to get on. And, from there, they can start pushing on. And again, just touch up on that, the importance of when you have a 10-minute quali, it's very important to get a banker in, because if, we're trying to push too much and you mess up on your flying laps, you only get a couple of shots at it, and, then you'll just be at the back of the grid. So if we see the timing screen, I think we have Ankur in second, Shamim in third, and Aditya in fourth. Glenn is in fifth. So, I think all of them have just gone out, done one lap. Some of them are going back into the pits. So Ravi's back in the pits for a quick set of change of tires.
Yeah, he probably said one lap and then, felt like he was way go quicker, so just gone, put some new boots on and then head out again.
Yeah, but, we have only about 4 minutes remaining in this session. So it's about a 1 minute 45-second lap. So that just leaves them with one more shot at it if they want to improve.
Yep, as we see our race one winner Aditya, who's representing Pune, coming through to start his flying lap, which possibly might be his last flying lap really.
Yeah, but I think not everybody's got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 6, 7 of them have just got a lap in. There's a big bunch of them still either on a lap or yet to set a lap.
Well, do remember a lot of them haven't set a lap. Also, it might be because sometimes track limits plays a key factor here, and if they run wide somewhere, that lap won't be counted.
Yeah, that's super brutal, and I've had that happen again to me a lot of times where you've absolutely nailed the entire lap, and even on a track like this, they have it's very similar to the Nürburgring, where you have a chicane just before the last corner, and that's where people try and ride the curbs as much as they can to try and gain that last 10th, and if the game penalizes you there, you have to do it all over again.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like you said, it's brutal, and you sometimes when you try to push that limit a little bit and you think you've only got 2 wheels off and that penalty comes, it's so frustrating. But yeah, those are the rules, right?
I think that's one of the biggest differences. As much as we do it in rail racing, the stewards keep an eye on stuff like that. There is a little bit of a chance for someone to get away with it. Not every camera catches every track limit violation, but in this game, it's like you have a camera on you all the time, so you cannot get away with anything.
Absolutely. And as we have Aditya here coming through the last corner, let's see what he comes up with. There, he goes quickest.
Yep, he's gone to a 44.3, about 4 tenths.
Flyer.
Yep.
An absolute flyer. Yeah, I mean, do remember that Ravi and a few others have went in to put some new tires on, so they'll probably be on their flying lap now, so it'll be interesting to see where they come up on the sheets. But their first flying lap was a 44.8, if I'm not wrong.
There you see Pradyumna getting a penalty, so he's been off somewhere. He has a 1.4 second penalty on this current lap. So yeah, it's an interesting way where if you have gone off, it lets you back off and get rid of the penalty, or it just gets added to your lap time. So
no, if you have a penalty, what happens if you don't back off? If you don't back off and respect it, what happens is the next lap is invalid. So all these drivers, what they try and do is through the slower corners, try and back off a bit, but still maintain that lap time of sorts.
Yep.
There's a trick to doing it. Really, we just need to master it.
Yeah. It's I think all of these guys have it down quite. Honestly, they know where to lift off a little bit, make sure it drops a few seconds off. So in this fourth and fifth place, you can see, it's super close. I think Ankur is in fourth, and he's just 14 thousandths of a second ahead of Shamim. So the battle for fourth, fifth, and sixth, I think, is super tight with just about 1/10.
And I think Shamir, we just gone purple there coming into the hairpin, so it'll be interesting to see what he pulls out of this lap.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are just coming up through the last complex of the lap, and should be going across the start finish line right now. I think Pradyumna is currently still P3, and he's about 700ths of a second faster than Ankur, who's about 14 thousandths of a second faster than Shamim. So they're super tightly bunched up between third, fourth, and fifth.
Oh, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's really close. I mean, and it's it's so close here. We can see Aditya is just getting quicker and quicker and quicker. He's going purple again.
Yeah,
But now if you short shift too early or if you hit the limiter, these small things make all the differences here.
Yeah, 14 thousandths of a second is, it's very difficult to put into explanation as to how close that is. So it could have just been, one breath that he's taken too much while, getting on throttle, and that itself was the difference between fourth and fifth.
Definitely. But that's the beauty of it. It's superb that they're so close. I'm so excited. I mean, it's really exciting to see what the race is going to bring to us.
So I think we're coming up to the end of the qualifying. I think we've gone over the 10-minute mark. We're just waiting for a couple of guys to finish their lap. So, I think Aditya has again gone out and put
he's gone off.
Yeah, he's gone off. I think maybe he's just stopped on the side of the track. But yeah, so far he's prevailed on pole. We'll see what. Ravi has gone across, not been able to improve on his lap time, so he stays second. I think Ankur has pushed himself up into P3, and Pradyumna dropped down to 4.
P4, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Aditya, so fun anywhere. He's jumped up to third on his last lap. He was, I think, in sixth. He moved up to third, so that was a good last lap for him. And he's going to be starting in the top 3.
No, it's a good comeback there by Ravi. Come into second. Let's see if he can take the 5. But he was second in Nürburgring as well. Unfortunately, had a bad start. But it's again the instant that's Aditya who drive for Pune, who's dominated really today and gone on pole. Let's try and see just before the race starts if we can get someone to come on live with us and have a chat. Yeah, so we just talk to Ravi and just should we get Ravi online and see what he. Ravi. I think he's just focusing on the race right now. Right, we're going to be going straight in. Right, we're on the grid right as we speak, Ishan, and as you can see, you've got Aditya followed by Ravi, and the lights are coming on any second. And they're off. Oh, a lot of wheel spin there. Someone's gone off at the back. There's a lot of drama. It's taken half the field out of the back there. Well, you've got the two Mercedes, the Pune cars who are running 1 and 3, if I'm not wrong. There's a lot of drama going on at the back. Oh, the game's just buffering a bit. But there's Shamim there trying to make some move. I think Ravi's settled in second position. The other Pune car's gone off. So it's Aditya in the lead, followed by Ravi, followed by Shamim, who's had a blind of a start really, who's come through. I think that's Pradyumna behind him, who's trying to make a move on Shamim as we go into the third corner, but no, couldn't hold it. So it's Aditya, followed by Ravi, followed by Shamim, who head down to the left-handed hairpin. Ishan, did you manage to see what happened at the back? I think we've just lost Ishan here for a second.
Yeah, can you hear me, Arman? Sorry.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, no, so I saw that there was, I think one driver got aggressive on the throttle and just spat him across the track, and he ended up taking about 4 or 5 other drivers along with him. So I think that's ruined the race for a lot of them. But at the front, I think we have a good, clean getaway for most of them.
Oh, we see even Pradyumna getting in the mix there. Someone's trying to make a move on him, and I think they went side by side. I'm not sure whether they touched. You can still see them side by side in the background, actually. But as we speak, Aditya driving for Pune is just eking away, building that gap. He's got the pace on his side, and he's already pulled out, I think, more than a second gap on Ravi. Wonder what the gap is once as they cross the start-finish line. Ravi comes in the second, followed by Shamim in third. These two work like teammates always, even though they're not driving for the same team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Ravi was talking about it when we spoke to him before this race that he wanted to make sure Azda doesn't get away from the slipstream. So he's trying to make sure he stays on the back of him. But I think you can see that Azda's pulled out maybe 1.6 seconds on the first lap itself. So that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, and this is without him having a strong start. He had a lot of wheel spin off the line, and we saw them all bunched up, but his pace has just been so dominant that once things got settled on the course of the lap, then he's just disappeared really. Shamim's actually kept keeping up with Ravi. Let's see if we can actually close the gap and try and fight for second place.
Yep, and I think Pradyumna is also in a good position right now because he's in P4 and he has a gap to P5. So, he doesn't have that kind of a pressure from behind him. He can focus on trying to close the gap to Shamim and, catch up to this train.
Oh, definitely. As we see, you've got Pune again in the lead, followed by Chennai, and
Mumbai is third.
And then we've got Mumbai in third, right? That's right. And then Delhi in fourth. What happened? Let's just try and go down the order, see what happened to Glenn. People like Glenn, people like Rupesh, where's Anandit? They all get mixed. And
there's another move that I think is.
That's the other Pune guy, yeah, Aditya Bakshi.
Yeah, Aditya Bakshi. Yeah. I think him and Glenn had a little bit of coming together going into that slow left-hander. But I think Glenn got the better of it and he's managed to get past him. He's up to 6th. I think what happened on the start was the Wildest Monk, he's got a little bit of wheel spin that threw him across the track and he managed to take out Glenn and a few others as well.
That's Ankur there who triggered that whole incident at the back, and we saw the whole second half of the grid swarming all over the place trying to avoid that really, and it was unfortunate because it really pushed them far down the field. I think that push would get some of them to actually pit early and see if that might work for them.
Yeah, and as we see Ankur, he tried to make a move around Aditya Bakshi and I think he's made it stick around the outside into C1, so that from a bad start I think he's making his way up the order, so there's a pretty good move from him.
Oh, definitely. I mean, all these guys in the back, I think it's just a fight to try and salvage whatever they can, after the mishap.
Like you said, this is a good opportunity for them to maybe drop into the pit a little early, get out in fresh air, manage a little bit of the fuel, and make sure they can make a few places while doing that.
We see Gaurav having few technical issues with his throttle there. Hopefully that can get solved soon.
And as we spoke, we see Ankur, he just went off in the back and he's dropped down from P6. So he's now all the way to the back end.
Yeah, Ankur's had quite a bit of a topsy-turvy race really. It's a strong start, but since then has had a few issues.
But right as we catch up to Azda in front, he's pulled out a 3-second lead now, and Ravi is in second, Shamim is in third. I think they've all settled into a rhythm with an equal amount of gap between each other.
Now it's only the pit stop that might just make a difference. You've got Pune followed by Chennai, then you've got Mumbai, and then you've got Delhi. Further down you can see Glenn there in the background coming into Bangalore.
These are not bad recovery drives from Glenn for having, not the greatest of starts, either being taken out by someone else or falling off the, order. He's managed to come back into P5 again in this race. So, in 2 strong P5 finishes, a lot of points that he's been able to recover from a bad position.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, again, it's points, but I'm sure he'll just be kicking himself for having strong bits of the leaders, but just not being able to capitalize on it.
That goes to show, how important qualifying is. Like for Aditya, he's been absolutely quick, blindingly fast. Just put on pole, and he's able to run away, avoid all these incidents that are happening to others around him.
But he's still going purple. He's all over the place, but he's still going purple, and he's still pushing. He's still pushing as hard as he can to try and keep going. So that shows how confident he is. With this car. I mean, so a lot of times with the tire depletion and everything, you see people backing off. But here, you see him very confident, chucking it, left to right, and having a lot of fun, really.
Yeah, and I just glanced at his lap time on the side. He managed to go again faster than what he did in his qualifying. So he did a 44.1, which is his fastest lap, and that's faster than what he did in qualifying, and managing to make that massive difference.
Yeah, definitely. Seem to have lost my screen for a second. I'll just come back.
So as I think Arman's having a couple of technical issues. For everyone out there who's watching, we're watching the Gran Turismo City League by Ultimate E, where we have different teams representing different cities. They had a big qualifying, 3 days of qualifying, where they tried out for their respective cities, and now they're representing them. There's 2 drivers per city, so they almost have like a teammate in the race with them, and all of them obviously get individual points and collect points for the team as well. So as we see, Puna is in first, Shamim is in third, who's from Mumbai, and Ravi is in second. So 1 and 2 has been the same as what we saw in the Nürburgring race as well, but we have a new third place in this race.
Yeah, thanks, Ishan. Sorry, my screen just went blank for a second. This is what happens. So basically, we're connected on a platform, and even though we're sitting in different cities in our own homes and being connected through that, and that's the feed that you're getting on YouTube and Twitch with our commentary. So unfortunately, there was a bit of a niggle there, but yeah, I mean, making a late call there, Aditya, to come into the pits and cutting through. He really cut that chicane, and I must have been borderline with maybe getting a penalty, because or maybe that's why he decided to come to the pit, because he realized he cut through the chicane.
Yeah, it was a really late turn into the pit as well. Like you could see him go across the white line, the pit entry white line. Fortunately, I think this game doesn't have that kind of penalties. It only gives you penalties for track limits. But see, both the leaders of pit on the same lap. You can see Aditya and Ravi both pit and rejoin back on the track with the same amount of gap. Actually, I think Ravi's made some time on him. The gap was about 3.5 seconds. It's now only 1.6. So it'll be interesting to see with his new set of tires he can put some pressure on.
Oh, definitely. I mean, let's see whether Ravi can, because he wants to win. Let's see if he can actually try and close that gap. But going by the pace that Aditya showed in the first half of the race, I really don't know. Really, I think he's still got that little bit of an edge.
Yeah, just as he was getting into the pit, he was still setting purple laps. Oh, and as Ravi has a moment coming out of that corner, we just see him twitching a little bit. So the outlap is very important. Once you pit, like we discussed earlier, you have a fresh set of tires, but they're not up to temperatures yet. You've had a little bit of a break during the pit stop. Your mind switches off, so it's very important to come out and bang that first lap in. We're seeing the gap kind of dropping down. It's now down to 1.5 seconds. Yeah. So let's see what happens.
Yep. So as it stands, this is we're a little more than half, just past the halfway mark of the second race of the Indian Super GT that we're running on a city-based model this weekend. It's our third week on the row, and we've seen Aditya pretty much dominate this week. And Ravi's been the consistent challenger, really.
Yep, and it was, I think the gap was about 1.6, and he's now managed to pull out another half a second. So he's pulled it out to about 2.1 seconds. Again, he's kind of got into that comfortable buffer. and P2, 3, and 4 again also are equally bunched out.
He's looking further back. It looked like Pradyumna made up some ground on Shabib there, and he's closed the gap a bit. So you've got Pune in the lead, Chennai in second, Mumbai in third, and Delhi in fourth. Pune and Chennai seem pretty comfortable. I think it's Mumbai and Delhi to fight for the final podium spot, really.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think Pradyumna would really be charged up for it after his first podium he got in the previous race. If he can manage to get that place and finish third 2 races in a row on his first 2 races, I think that'll be a great achievement.
Oh, definitely. So Pradyumna by profession is actually a golfer. To spend this time behind the wheel, I think it's definitely helped his reflexes when he goes back to the course.
I think there are a few golfers out there. I've been watching some of the other esports, the racing that's been going on. Ian Poulter is, he has a proper rig and setup, and he's been racing with all the Formula One boys. So I don't know, maybe there is something to it with hand-eye coordination and sim racing. Golfers are doing really well.
I mean, we did say that you have to concentrate a hell of a lot to be on the sim for a long periods of time, and I guess that's that's one of the reasons for it.
Yep, and I think that kind of goes to show. We've been watching a lot of these guys, the drivers who are really quick on a simulator. They're not necessarily all from a racing background. Some of them have never even raced or driven a race car before, and it just goes to show that if you can get them into an actual race car, I'm pretty sure you'll see a lot of them doing really well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that's the plan, to get to build up the momentum, get the interest levels going, and then slowly convert these gamers to racing drivers. And some of them nowadays, some of them will just be happy being esports drivers and making a profession being an esports racing driver.
Yeah, it obviously has its own advantages. You have the luxury of having that restart button, or at the same time the luxury of not having to pay for damages or not having to pay.
I think that's the biggest luxury, John.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can manage to crash a GT3 car in the game, get away with it, I think that's the biggest positive.
From experience, I can tell you in real life, it really breaks your heart.
Yeah, it breaks your heart and your bank, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. No, so I think it's a good, it gives people that luxury of having to sit back at home and compete, virtually with anyone across the world. And that's a unique, opportunity. And we keep speaking to people who have, interest in racing and motorsport. And this is a good way to start for them. As we see, I think Aditya has, he's made a mistake on the last lap, and Ravi's caught up right up to him. He's 1.2 seconds behind him, and he has a penalty of about 0.3. So
he's going to be within a second. He's going to be within a second with about 1 lap to go. We're on the penultimate lap, so he's really piling the pressure. Ravi, now will Aditya succumb to the pressure, or will he be able to set it up? Yeah, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, and I think Ravi himself has the penalty of 7/10. So it'll be interesting to see how if both of them can shake that penalty off and try and bunch up together. But as we say that, he's put in another purple first sector, so I'm sure he's seen the gap close down, and he's like, I'm going to put my pedal down and set my lap times.
Yeah, probably push for the first half of the lap, and then they get the slow section in the third sector, then back off a bit and let the penalty subdue it.
Yeah, as I also mentioned earlier, this game has a good way of allowing people to change settings on the fly. You can manage fuel maps and stuff like that. So, if you feel like, you want to back off a little bit, then you can easily put the car into a different fuel map which is a little more leaner and it consumes less fuel. You can plan out your strategies also accordingly.
Oh, definitely. I mean, like I said earlier, it just keeps the driver thinking all the time, and that's what you have to do. Think on your feet and keep adapt situation and get used to all these buttons on the steering wheel.
I think the gap, and as you see, he's really taking liberties with that chicane there, as you mentioned earlier. But he's managed to get away with it. I could see him climbing it all over the first chicane, but he didn't it didn't kind of give him another penalty, so I think he got away with that. And he's pulled out another couple of tenths, so it's now back up to 2 seconds on the last lap.
Yeah, we're on the last lap. I think we're just looking at replay there. Sorry, and we just want to catch up with the leaders again, coming to the last lap and just following them through the first sector. And this is basically Pune, who it looks like he's going to going for the win here, and will end up winning the championship as well. Followed by Ravi, who's in second for Chennai, and they probably finish second as well. Overall, is what I meant.
Yeah, I think we've seen a mix of one driver doing really well. There's no one city that has had both the drivers do well. So we've had one driver from each city, kind of doing the lot of legwork, has to say.
There's a clear driver 1 and driver 2, as we've seen really. But have you noticed how these two have pulled away from Shamim and Pradyumna? I did not see them in the background.
As we just speak, you see Shamim coming out of the previous corner. I think what's happened is, these two kind of got in their zone and trying to keep away from each other, they've pulled away from Shamim. And,
as Aditya comes through the last corner, coming to the last sequence of corners. Coming to the last sequence of corners. And he goes sideways there. He nearly uses it there on the braking.
But yeah, he comes across to take another dominating victory. 2 out of 2, lights to flag. It's been a superb performance from him.
That's Ravi in a close second place there for Chennai. So Pune takes the win, takes all the glory of the championship. That's Aditya, who's our city-based champion. Ravi, who's the runner-up, and that Shamim holds on to third. With Pradyumna, who's in fourth, I guess.
Yeah, I just saw him go across the line there. You see, in fourth place. Was solid 2 races for him, a third and a fourth. So I think he's done decently well for Delhi.
Yeah, as you can see, he got his fuel calculation wrong, and he had to back off in the last lap. I think that's where the gap had opened up. But yeah, here we have a winner, Aditya Patnaik, basically from Pune. For Pune, who's the winner.
Yeah, I think both races pulled on pole. Both races had a clean start, lights to flag, no incidents. Absolutely commanding wins for him.
Definitely. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You've got the winner, it's Aditya Patnaik. You've got Ravi in second, and you've got Shamim in third. Let's get Ravi for a quick chat before we sign off. Ravi, are you with us?
Hi, Arman, what's up?
How's it going? How was that? 2 second paces. You fought hard, but just didn't have that extra pace.
Yep, I don't know. I think Pleb is running some extra octane booster. Looks like I threw it. I threw everything I had at it. I just couldn't catch him.
Yeah, I think right after the pit stops, we saw you guys, closed up quite a bit. The gap was down to, I think, about a second, and he had a pen.
He had a penalty as well, and I thought any pushing more than that, I would have spun. So I kind of backed off.
Okay.
Yeah. Saying that he was really testing the limits, because I know how strict this game is in terms of track limits, and he was always on that edge or just pushing that boundary. And I'm pretty surprised. Actually, I think he's lucky that he only got one penalty really.
That's probably the secret to his quick time. He's probably finding a couple of tenths here and there. Yeah, every chicane.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he seemed very comfortable being on the edge. But anyway, I think that was a really consistent. Again, another weekend where you've been consistently quick, consistent results, and you've brought second place for the Chennai team.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I hope the viewers had fun watching.
Yeah, I hope you had fun driving, and hope to see you again soon next week.
See you. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. See you. So yeah, there we have it, Arman. Super fun. I think an hour and a half that we had of intense racing across 2 cities, 2 countries, Nürburgring and Barcelona. So I think it's been a great 1.5 hours. Thanks for having me on commentating duties. Now I finished an hour and a half of driving, and now I've been watching these guys drive for feels like I want to get back to it myself.
I think you earned yourself a beer, Ishan. But thanks for joining me. It's been a fun 1.5 hours. Some really close racing. To just round it up again, we had Pune who takes the overall win. We had Chennai in second and Mumbai in third in the second race. Um, this is Armand Ibrahim signing off from Ultimate E, and do join us again next week. Thanks, Ishan, once again. I shall see you guys soon. Stay safe. Good night. Bye.